the power to do the right thing. I have the power to change my life and my world. I have the power to be the greatness that God has called me to be. I say I do, and I receive outstanding results. Welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Connect with Eleanor. I hope you were blessed by last week's episode about taking back your power. I hope you're working on it, every single one of you, because you know that we are on a journey, and I believe that journey is a wonderful one that is filled with so many trials and temptations, but I know you will overcome. Continue. Guys, thank you so much for your support, for watching my videos, for encouraging me. I'm so much encouraged, I'm so much blessed. Really appreciate you for subscribing, for taking your time to listen, for applying it to your lives. Thank you so much, guys. So today's episode of Connect with Eleanor, we are talking about the 12 myths of decision making. Some people have some crazy ideas about decision making that I feel like we need to deal with. Because in life, if you decide that you don't want to change your orientation, you don't want to change your perspective, you don't want to broaden your knowledge, the truth is you'll be stagnant. And Connect with Eleanor is the podcast that we are all on a journey of growth. So every single day we are working on ourselves to become a better person. It is a process of making choices. We all know that. You identify a particular choice and you gather information. Then you assess the alternative resolutions. What it means is that you have so many choices that you want to make, but you are not entirely sure which one to go for. So in decision making, you weigh your options, you gather information, and you choose the right one, the one that you know that it will benefit you. That's mainly what decision making is all about. So let's get right into the 12 myths of decision making. So the first myth of decision making is that decision making is a one-time thing. Decision making is not a one-time thing. In this life, there are times that you make some decisions, then along the line, when you gather more knowledge, you're more grown, you're more mature, you tell yourself that this decision that I made, did not assess it well before I made the decision. The reality is that decision making is not a one-time thing. It's something that we make continuously every single day. It's a choice you make every single day. Something you say that, okay, because I've made this decision once, then it's over like that. Let me give you an example. Although it's a bad example, but I have to just give it. Take for example couples that get married, they decide to spend the rest of their life together, and along the line, probably the lady realizes that this man is beating her, there's such abuse in the home. She can actually make a decision, even though she made the decision in the first place to spend the rest of her life with such a person. The truth is, it's obvious that decision is coming with a lot of consequences that is too costly for her. You understand? So she might just decide that she wants to opt out of that relationship. It's a choice actually. So decision making is not a one-time thing. You can always review it back and tell yourself that I need to revise this decision. This decision that I made is a no for me. You understand? The second myth of decision making is that once I make the right decision, there are no consequences. People always feel like because they make the right decision, then they will not face consequences. But the difference is that if you make the right decision, the consequences might not be something entirely negative. It will probably have a positive impact on your life, and it might also have a negative impact on your life. Let me give you an example. When you've worked with some set of friends for a long time and you realize that their lifestyle is not something that you can match up with again, and you make a decision that you want to stay away from these people. If you look at it very well, the benefits is that you have opportunity to meet other people in your life that would actually change you and lead you to that place of destiny. But the negative side of it is that they might be saying that so you want to betray this friendship, you understand that kind of thing, and you might actually feel hurt that these people have been with me from the beginning. But one thing I realized about growth is that if your friends are not growing with you in the path to greatness, you don't even have to chase them away. Automatically they will know that the pace that both of you are working is not the same. You understand? This myth is something that you need to correct. The fact that you make the right decision does not mean you will not face the consequences. I see many people that they say, hey, but I married the right person. Why is he now doing this? Why is he now doing that? The fact that you married the right person does not mean you will not have issues. Does not mean this person is not flesh and blood, does not have his or her own flaws. So please, the the fact that you made the right decision does not mean there will not be consequences. You just get it once and just, accept it as part of the reality of life. Then the third myth is that I don't need to consider others. After all, it's my life. This one I need to sit on it because people do it a lot. I hear people say, it's my life, I can make whatever decision I want. Really, we are all connected in this life. That's one thing I want you to know. Everybody is connected to each other. For every action, for every decision you make, it will have an effect on the people around you, no matter how much you want to do it. So when you are making a decision, you are not making a decision because of only yourself. You're making a decision because of the future generation that are coming ahead of you. You're making a decision because of the people that are around you. Before you even say you want to consider yourself, you need to consider the impact of that decision on your loved ones. It is very important because if you decide that, okay, it's my life, it's my choice, whether you like it or not, it will still affect the people around you. So why not just consider them? As much as I'm somebody that I'm a preacher of self-love, self-respect, self-worth, I know that making decisions is not something that you can just... Let me give you guys an example. There was a particular guy that was trying to, ask me out. It was like, okay, I should consider him for a relationship and all like that. And, I took time to study his character, his personality, his goals, his ambitions, and I saw that we're not going the same way. And apart from even the fact that we're not going the same way, it's obvious that if I decide to go for this kind of person, it will have a negative effect on the kind of family that I have. So as much as I would like to say, okay, I want to consider my own personal feelings, probably is my spec or is not my spec, as much as those things are very important, I have to consider the people around me too and the effect that it will have on them. I have to consider my unborn children. Would I want them to have this kind of father? This is especially going to ladies and guys too. When you're making a decision of who you want to settle with for the rest of your life, you need to consider this. This person somebody that I can say, I want to be the father of my children. Is this person someone that I want to say, I want this person to be the mother of my children? It is very, very important. So when you are making decisions, this myth is something that you need to shatter out of your mind once and for all. Decision making is not only about you. You have to consider others when you are making decisions, no matter how much you want to do it. You not even considering others is another decision that you make. Because whether you make the right decision or the wrong decision, it will still have effect on the people around you. So why not just make the right one? You understand? Then the fourth myth is that good decision makers never experience regret. I mean, this one is a great myth. There are many times that I've made the right decisions, and according to my own analysis, I made the right decision. And I still had some regrets because I felt like, probably I should have done this better. Probably I should have improved on this. The truth is the fact that you are a good decision maker, you make the right decisions, it doesn't mean that you will not face regret. It doesn't mean that there are some things that you will not look back on and tell yourself that, I should have thought better. I should have handled this way better, even though it was the right one. Just take, for example, you and your friend, you had a fallout, something like that, you voiced out your opinion. And yes, it's actually obvious that you needed to voice out your opinion, but you might actually have that regret that probably you should have spoken in a more polite way, you understand? So the fact that you are a good decision maker does not mean you will not face regrets. Please, you need to get this one too. It's very important. So now the fifth myth is that good decisions are made quickly. The truth is, to make decisions is not something that you need to rush. Decision making is not something you need to rush because you need to analyze it. Is this decision aligning with my goals? Is it aligning with the things in my life? Is this something that is detrimental to my progress? You need to veto all these facts before you decide to make a decision. Is this something that God is in support of? All those things are very important. As you don't just make decisions anyhow, you need to take your time to make decisions. Although there are some decisions that I would say you make maybe in a rush, those decisions that they are not really they don't really have that long-term effect on your life. For example, this morning I just looked at my box and I just picked something I wanted to wear and I decided to wear black. You understand? It's not really something that will really affect my life in that sense. Whether I wear white or black is like a trivial decision. But there are some decisions that they are destiny-changing decisions. You cannot just afford to make them anyhow. The sixth myth about decision making is that more information always leads to better decision. Many people make this mistake a lot. I would always say is that as much as it is very good for you to get information, what makes a difference in your life is information that is actually useful. Because a lot of people have a lot to say online these days, and you need to be careful. Not many people know that their words are powerful. That's why every single thing I say on my platform, is it something that is beneficial to the people that are listening to me? You understand? It is very, very important. The fact that you have more information, yes, you might research about the topic and the issue and all like that, but even if you gather all the information in the whole world, it doesn't mean you still make the right decision. So I feel like as much as gathering information when you want to make a decision matters, I feel like you need to consider some other factors too when you're making decisions. So the fact that you gather more information, it doesn't mean you make a better decision. You understand? It just means that you will have enough criteria to veto that decision that you want to make. The seventh myth about decision making is I'm too busy. I don't have time to make this decision. This is for people that try to avoid making decisions, so they push it to people around them, or they decide not to do anything. You're not too busy to make any decision. You can always decide. The fact that you're even choosing not to make any decision is actually a decision on its own. I see a lot of ladies that they just lead a guy on, they're not giving him an answer, they're leading him on, and come back in the next 3 months after I finish praying and the Lord ministers to me and all like that. I understand the fact that you want to inquire of God and all these things, but the truth is we still need to make a decision. For me, with all the suitors that have come along my way, I've always tried my best to make my decision. In short, within a month, I've made my decision already, whether I want to invest in this relationship or not. For someone like me, I always wear my standards and my values on my sleeve. So once I have a conversation with you within the space of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes I don't even need to pray safe. I've actually just know that this person is not somebody that is aligning with my goals. You understand? Because two people working together is a journey. So if you people are not going the same way, if your goals are not aligning, if one person is going west, another person is going east, there's problem. So when you're making decisions, it's not something that you just decide that you don't want to. The truth, that choice that you decide that you don't want to make it, you are being in between. You're telling yourself that I'm a neutral person. You will still have to make that decision eventually. So why not just make decision once and for all and just get it over with instead of just prolonging things? You understand? Another myth that I would say is that I can make a rational decision void of emotion. I know I am a victim of this, I will not lie. For so long I've always thought that any decision that I make, I always try to make a rational decision. That this decision, I'm not making it based on my emotions, I'm not making it based on so many things. But it was later when I started reading books, you understand, when I started reading books and I started learning, I now realized that you even thinking that you actually made a rational decision void of emotions, it actually means that there's emotion involved, whether you like it or not. You understand? You can tell yourself that I'm not making this decision based on my emotions, but the truth is, if you look at it very well, emotion is still involved, your experiences is still involved, the things you face, the people you've met is still involved. There was a particular book that I read and it was saying something about the principle of first mention. What it means is that the first experience that you have about a particular subject, the first information that you have about a particular subject affects the way you think. For example, you're someone that you've always preferred men that are tall, dark and handsome. Now, probably you meet a guy and this guy is someone that is fair. You might actually tell yourself that the reason why you rejected this guy is because he's not tall, dark and handsome. But if you look at it very well, that decision that you made, you might actually tell yourself that yes, this guy that is fair, he has a lot of character issues, he has a lot of this thing, I need to make objective decision, I need to be rational about it. Whether you like it or not, emotions are involved. It's possible that along the line growing up, you've had this myth about tall, dark and handsome, that they are the best version of men in the world. So when you see a guy that is not tall, dark and handsome, you have issues with it. As simple as that. But in your own mind, you might think the guy is not this, is not that, he's having this thing. The truth is, whether you like it or not, that decision is still influenced by your emotions, your past experiences. That's just one way to look at it. Then another myth that decision making has is that there's just one way to do this. There are several ways to do things. You might not just have discovered this. I always tell people, don't be rigid. I've always been a rigid person and it has not helped my life. I won't lie to you guys. You cannot be rigid when it comes to life and decision making. They always say never say never. You understand? So there's not just one way to do things. You understand? As a guy, you tell yourself that this is the only way I know how to take care of my lady. This is the only way that I know how to do this. There's no one way to things. There are several ways you can do things, and you even do them in a productive way. So please remove that mindset that there's only one way to do this thing. There's not only one way. There are 1,000 ways that you can do things accurately and effectively. You understand? So another myth that I would say, which is the 10th one, is good decisions need robust approval. People should pay attention to this one. The fact that you are making a good decision does not mean people will approve of it. You know, when you see people that they make decisions online, they do some things, and because you see people hailing them, you feel like, yes, because people are hailing them, it means they made the right decision. It's a lie. Most of the decisions, I would say 75% of the decisions you make in your life, you will not see men will not approve it. That's the truth. People will not approve it. They will not even clap for you. It's after that decision now becomes something great and something wonderful that people now be saying, wow, I didn't even know that this thing was going to end up like this. But believe me, when you're making that good decision, people will not give you approval. So remove that one from your mind completely. You understand? So the fact that you see people making decisions and you see because they have people's approval, you feel like this is actually making the right decision. That's why they have people's approval. It's a lie. There are so many wrong decisions in our world today that a lot of people support them. I'm telling you. So forget about approval. Just make a decision that you know that is consistent with your goals, your values, your principles. You understand? Just go for it. 11th myth of decision making is trust your instincts. This one, there are several times that my instinct has failed me. For someone like me, I've always been someone prophetic. Guys, I'm a Christian, so I need to talk about all these things, so don't mind me. I've always been a prophetic person, but it took me a long time to realize that gift that I had. You understand? I'm somebody that if I meet someone for the first time and I get this kind of energy, this feeling from them, and I have this conversation, there's always some kind of thoughts that come to my mind. I'll just tell myself, this person has something to hide. I'm sensing it. This person has something. I'm sensing it in the spiritual realm. Yes, actually, the person has something to hide. Because when you meet somebody for the first time, they will not tell you everything about them. So the person truly has something to hide. Let me tell you one thing that I know about people that are prophetic. Your gift of discernment, you need to be very, very careful. If you're looking at people from the lens of hate, or you are looking at people from the lens of you're judging them, there's no how your giftings will not be corrupt. You get? So trusting your instincts is not something that is advisable, because your instinct can fail you. Your discernment can even fail you. Your spiritual discernment can fail you, because you're not sure whether at that particular time you are actually looking at that person from an objective point of view. You're not using your emotions to view the person. That's why it's always good when you're making decisions, you go back to God, you pray, you analyze. Will this decision benefit my future? Is this something that is detrimental to my progress? The 12th myth of decision making is there's a right decision. I want to bust you guys' bubble. Do you know that there is no right decision? There's just a better decision. There's no decision that I will say that is the right decision. Every decision comes with its own consequences, comes with its own efforts, comes with so many things that you need to deal with. Take for example, for someone like me, I made a decision that I wanted to give my life to Christ, and I did. Now, ever since then, I would say that is actually a better decision for me because it has really changed my life in so many ways. But do you know that as much as it has changed my life in so many ways, I've lost so many things also. But the reason why I am still convicted in my decision is because of, I would say, 80% of the benefit that has come with this decision. You understand what I'm trying to say? As at that time, if I had decided that I didn't want to give my life to Christ, it doesn't mean that my life will be trashy and all these things, or maybe I will not really make money or advance in life. But it just means that everything I'm going to be doing will be void of God. I always tell people the fact that the reason why we give our life to Christ, the reason why we decide that Christ will be our Lord and He will dwell in our temple is because that is what we were originally created to do, to reflect the glory of God, to have relationship with our Creator. And I won't lie to you, giving your life to Christ has its own benefits and it has its own consequences. But at least it is better for you to be under the canopy of Christ when you face the trials of life than for you to be on the other side. You understand? So giving your life to Christ is a very good decision because when you consider the pros and cons, I mean, the advantage is massive. You get. But now, if you now decide that okay, you don't want to give your life to Christ because you feel like it might cost you a lot. The truth is, if you decide to even make the wrong decision, it will still cost you. So just make the right decision. There was a place in the Bible that was saying that before you come on this journey, count the cost. But do you know what makes being a Christian beautiful? Is the fact that when you're going through all these trials of life and all these issues of life, you're not alone. But if you decide that you want to go to the other side, if you are facing your problem, you're on your own. You cannot be calling one father in heaven that does not recognize you to be his daughter or his son. That's just it. So the one thing I would say that is the paramount advantage of being a Christian is the fact that you're not going through it alone. You understand? You have heavenly support. You have backup. That's just it. So those are the 12 myths of decision making that I want to tell you guys about today. But before I go, let me give you guys 5 criteria of making good decision. If you want to make a decision, what are the criteria you need to follow to know whether this decision is the right one or is the good one? So the first thing is that values. Is this decision aligning with my values? Number 2, criteria. What are the things involved in this decision? What are the criteria? What are the risks involved? You understand? Is it low risk, high risk? Those are the things you need to check. Will it affect them in a positive way? Will this thing be detrimental to my growth, my advancement? Then what is the intention? What do I seek to gain from this decision? Why do I want to make this decision? Those are the things you need to just check when you're making decisions before you make them. I've made so many decisions in my life that I tell myself that yes, I might look back and say, okay, I could have handled it better. But what makes it beautiful is the fact that I know that I made the right decision based on my own criteria. I always tell people, if you see somebody that they decide to live a wayward life, in their own perspective, they are making the right decision because they feel like the decision is something that meets their criteria. You get? So we all have a choice. God has given us that free will to make decisions. But I feel like as much as you're making decisions, your decisions is something that determines your destiny. It determines the outcome of so many things in your life. There are some decisions that are short-term decisions and there are some decisions that are destiny-defining decisions. Like on who to marry, your career, where to go, where to live. There are some decisions that once you make them, it's just a rapid effect on your life to the point that you have to just be using crisis management to make sure that the effect is not really much like that. There are some decisions that you cannot just make based on your emotions. You cannot just make them based on your past experiences. You need to take time to study, to read, to pray, to meditate, ask advice from elders. Tell people in this Gen Z generation that know the elders and you don't learn from them. There is a problem because these people have seen life, they've had experiences. So it's actually good for you to learn from others. Learn from the people that you feel like they have more experience in this area than you before you make any decision. Read, pray, study, check, is this decision detrimental to my growth? Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Connect with Elo. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much. In case you have not subscribed, please encourage Elena. I love you guys. See you next week. Bye.